M0FXB, welcome to my channel. ANYTONE have a new firmware update and the version is 3.03. I've got the ANYTONE 878 UV2 Plus. So let's do it. The firmware change includes: number 1, improve the scan speed, ignore some burst signal. 2, modify the SMS to support the text capture on BM. 3, modify the CPS to prohibit the CPS read the AES ARC4 encryption from the radio and prohibit the CPS and more. Save coplug in 3.02 CBS in RDT file. Do the firmware upgrade on the radio, and after upgrade the reset is a must, so you definitely have to reset this. So save your coplug. Run the 3.03 CPS and open the save file. Info there. Optional settings. So I'm not seeing really a massive change. Maybe to some people it is a big change, but that's what it is. I may as well do it. You are going to need a 2-pin programming cable that looks like this. I'll put a link in the description. Connect one end into the 2 pins in the right hand side of your ANYTONE 878, just here where my finger is, and the other end into your PC, and hopefully you've got the driver. If I right click mine, go device manager, right click the Windows squares, device manager, with a bit of luck double click, we'll have our driver there. I can't see it because the radio's turned off, but when it's on I will show you. Now click the download, as it says here, download free, and I want the UV Plus, so I'm going to click that. Make sure you get the right one for your model, and we've got a zip file here, and we're going to put the whole contents of that zip file into its own folder by, let's just make some space here, we'll delete that file, and we're going to right click here where there's a gap, new folder, I'm going to call it 878-303, so I know where it is, and it's on the desktop. Okay, so we have a new folder, the zip's here, and then we're going to send the zip just by going extract to, and then we're going to look to desktop. We're going to find the one I just named 878. Hopefully it's here somewhere. There it is there. And then we're going to send the contents there. Click OK. And inside that folder now, if we double click, we've got quite a lot of stuff. But the one that says firmware is important. We've got the CPS one there. So we'll run that now actually, which is the programming software. Double click. Click yes. And we just follow the prompts. And it will create a desktop and it will open it as well. Finish and launch. Okay, so we've got our CPS. I'm going to minimize that because you can, if you click the little square top right, you can actually make it smaller, you see. Just put it to the right hand side for now. We'll turn on the radio, but we'll hold down the PTT and the green button on top. Quite fiddly, but we should be able to do that. And turn it on. And if you've done it correctly, the top LED will now be flashing red. Okay. So it's now in firmware mode. The next thing we'll do is read the radio. So remember the cable is connected. So we're going to go, we need to set the COM port. So now the radio's on, let's right click and look for our COM port. Device manager. Move this out of the way so you can see. Device manager, double click, and you're looking for a COM port. And I've got one there, USB serial device. Okay, so it's COM 8. You can see it's COM 8. Your number will be different. Let's go back to the software. Open that up a bit. So we know where all our files are. They're in that folder that I made, remember? 878. Make this a lot bigger. And at the top, just trying to make sure that you can see it here. At the top it says set com, so I'm going to go set com and make sure we select 8. Click OK, and we're actually going to read from the radio as well. Read, and then we're going to save a file. So let's read first. Did I select the wrong com? I've just realised, yeah, before we go into firmware mode, we just want to turn the radio on in the normal way, so that so we can read the radio first. So we just turned it off and on, and then we'll read. So now we'll go read from radio. Click OK, because it won't read it if it's in. It's not like in that version. So maybe I'm going to have to read it with the old firmware, with the old CPS first. Let's just do that. If you look at the top here, it says 3.03. It's quite small. It says it there, version 3.03. We're not going to close that. We're just going to minimize it. Find the other version. There you are. As soon as I put the 3.02 version on and I go, so I've set the com and then I read, it worked straight away. You can see it. So it says read complete. I'll just do it again so you can see. So we go program, read from radio, click OK. And it reads. Nice. That's good. And we're going to go save. I'm going to save it, file, save, and I'm actually going to save it in that same folder on the desktop that I named 878. But you decide where you want to save it, and I'm going to call it 302 version so I don't forget. So we've got the data file that we need to reload the radio after we factory reset. So I'm going to go save. We've got a copy, and now we might have to load the firmware on using this software first. So that's fine. So we go back into firmware mode, turn the radio off, hold down the PTT and the green button, turn it back on. It's now flashing away in firmware mode. Then we're going to go Tools, Firmware Update. Open the file. Remember, we put the file in that folder called 878. Double click firmware. There's the file. It's called 20231218 SPI. Double click, and it's saying the file's gone in. Click OK, and hopefully everything's in there. I haven't adjusted the com speed or anything like that. I'm just going to click write. Click OK, and that's going to update our firmware. Takes about, fast forward past this if it's a bit boring. Then at the end, we're going to factory reset, then load our old code plug, because after a factory reset, it's going to be blank. Doing well so far. Complete, and it's going to reboot, although it will show you that it's got the latest firmware, and I'll show that now, but you still have to do a factory reset for it to work properly. There you are, back on. So let's show it you. We'll go menu, down, go down with the down button, so green button, menu, down, go to settings, then device info, and you'll see it there. Go down, it should have your DMR number and all that in there. Keep going, there it is there, version 3.03. Let's go back. To go back, just press the red button. Now before we factory reset, I'm going to close this window. I'll leave that one there, the ANYTONE link. I'm going to open the new 3.03 and see if it will now read. So we go setcom 8. It should now read with a bit of luck, because we've got the, there you go. We're reading now with the version 3.03, which is great because they do make changes, you know, to the actual programming software that can be beneficial to your radio. I'm not seeing anything obvious now, but I've definitely got the latest now. Let's do the factory reset. And even now I can save, you know, I go file, save somewhere, and I'll call this new 303, and then we'll just save it to the same place, desktop. There's the one, and save. So I've got my code plug. That's the most important thing you've got to do. You'll be very unhappy if you don't. So now we're going to do the factory reset. Okay, so we'll turn it off, and we're going to hold down the PTT button and the button underneath it. There's two, but it's the one up at the top, and then we're going to turn it on at the same time. So I know it's quite fiddly. So it's off, hold them down, turn it on, keep your fingers on. Okay, and then we're going to go confirm. It'll probably ask for the date and time, all that kind of stuff. Taking a while. Okay, and I'm not gonna put it in now, I'm just gonna confirm it for now, I'll put that in later. So we're back, probably lost all of its code plug. Yes, that's a blank radio, but no problem, because all we now do is go program. Just click any OKs that we've got here, click OK. Then we're going to go program, turn the radio back on. Oh, it is on because it's timing out because it hasn't got my timer. So write to radio, click OK. That will be all our code plug back. Click OK. Now we're gonna, before we end the video, we're gonna just have a look what else they've given us with this firmware, because they do give you some goodies sometimes. So I just double click my file and I'm looking in here. It says that it's got instructions at the top. It's got APRS and Bluetooth firmware update. It is dated now, and I thought that was all updated myself. It's saying version 2.0. Let's have a quick look. So we'll go menu, go back to settings, go down to device, and let's have a look what version APRS we've got. Radio data, language, software. So it looks to me like we've got a newer Bluetooth, haven't we? I think, because that one's saying version 2.0 and I've actually got 2.01. Now APRS is saying version 1.04. Let's have a look at this. There are instructions here. Yeah, there is. It is a different number. It is 2. It does look different. So it looks like I'm going to have to teach myself shortly how to upgrade the Bluetooth, which I'm going to do in this video. Just look, they do give you instructions, which is very nice. Yeah, so it's looking here, look. It does actually go from 1.04 to 1.06. It says that this is for the new BT and APRS board. Now, I'm not sure if I've got the new or the old, so I'm just going to have to try it. Basically, the new firmware, version 2.0, is identical to 1.06. When you select the wrong firmware during the upgrade, it won't open it. That's good to know. So, to get into firmware mode, it says here, press and hold both the PF3 key, which is the top button, and the PF2 key, which is the bottom, so the second function button down with the 2 lines on it. And then it gets you into what's called update mode for link board. So let's do that. So we're going to turn it off. Remember, I'm learning this with you. Off, PTT, bottom button, PTT, and I'm turning it on. I'm holding, it now says update mode, very bright. I've dimmed it down a bit for you. It then says open the software, go to tools, firmware update, and select the file that is called, the appropriate one for your Bluetooth So let's have a look at that. And then you've got the CAPCOM port and all that. So let's have a look. We've got some tips here. It says press menu 7 and enter the menu, press the flat line, and then go down to the settings to see what model you've got. We just did that. And it's showing here that the 878 UV2, please use the firmware D878 UV2. That's what it says. Don't use UV because it hasn't got a big enough memory. I'm not sure if that's clear enough, but if I look at the file again, there it is. If we double click the version 2 here, yeah, I mean, I can't really see how to tell the difference. I'm just going to have to load one and hope, I think. Someone probably knows, but you've got the M version and the H version. So I'm just going to choose the H when it probably will refuse it anyway. So let's go to the programming software. Make sure that we've got the software that's called 3.03, which is this one. Yeah, it says it there. So I'm going to I'm going to follow the instructions. I also noticed that they've got all the instructions here for the 578, so we'll do that in the next video because that looks like it's been updated. Let's go down. It's got anyway, that's for a separate video. So let's go back to this one. So we're going to open the file and click the appropriate one. CVS Tools, Firmware Update, Open File. Let's just do it. So we'll go Tools, Firmware Icon Update. Let's make sure there isn't a different one for Bluetooth. No. Open File, and then we'll go into the Bluetooth one now, and we're going to choose one. It's only letting me choose the one that's called SPI. I'm going to double click it, click OK, and then write. We're in update mode. You can see the radio's in update mode. Now what does it say? Check link, check whether the current serial port settings are correct and retry. OK. So we go to the top, cancel out of this a minute. We'll go setcom 8, click OK. Cables in, we're in update mode. Program, tools, firmware update, A board model. So I have to try the other one, but it does say COM8. Version 2, right. Click OK. It's not letting me do that. So let's try the other one. Open the file. I'll go back to the one underneath. Click OK. It's not showing anything there, but let's click right. Ah, that went in. It said right successful. What we'll do now is turn it off, turn it on, and just see if the numbers changed. Bit slow, isn't it? Right, okay, menu, settings, device info, and we're looking for the Bluetooth. Still says 1.04. It's possible I got to factory reset. We can do that. So we go menu. I'll just do that process again, the factory reset. Yeah, so I did it again, and it still says it's got the older Bluetooth, but I've done it. You've seen the process. And let's have a last quick look at the file download. See if there's any goodies in there. JSON to CSV conversion program. So there's something they give you, some sort of converter. Never used that before, but I'm sure it's good. Convert what? So I'm sure it's good. Convert what? CSV. Let's go back. Icon mod. Should we do that one? You get different icons. Okay. If you just do one, double click this, click yes. Open file. I'm just going to double click it, click OK, and I'm going to go right. wrong COM, we want COM8. Right. Okay, let's put it in firmware mode. Turn it off. Firmware mode. Oh, wrong button. Sorry about my hand. Right, we're in firmware mode. Let's do the icon. Let's just cancel this. Open icon. Click OK. Right. Doesn't really seem interested in that either. Let's have a quick look at the instructions. Yeah, and I've seen this before, and I actually tried this to do that on my radio the other day, on this particular radio, and it wouldn't do it. So let's just quickly look at the instructions. We'll try one last time just to show you the process. So we'll go, first of all, we'll go Program, Tool, Firmware Icon Update. Get it back in, it's in firmware mode now. COM8, so everything looks correct. Update file, we'll double click, not this folder, we want the icon thing, so icon mod. There's only one file, click OK. Write to radio, and it doesn't want to know. So I'm not really sure why it doesn't want to know, because everything's working as it should be. But that is the process for updating your icons. And you get this nice satellite for GPS, and you get this for APRS. Thanks for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe if you find this helpful. 7.3, all the best. That's 2023, 27th of December.